So how do we work with these problems that have parentheses in them? You have choices, which for some of us is a good thing, and for some not so much. I want to show you two ways. You can then pick the way that you prefer. Many students, when they see a number in parentheses, like to distribute the front number through the parentheses. This will work every time. Let's see what happens. By distribute, we mean take the front number times the first number in the parentheses, so -3 times 1, and times the second term in the parentheses. -3 times -6n ends up being a positive, so plus 18n. Once you've done that distribution, this is now exactly like other equations that we have done. So start by doing, I want to get this n by itself. So take the 3, add the 3. We're going to save the 18 for later because that's right beside the n. That's going to leave me with 18n equals 105 plus 3 is 108. And then to finish, 18 times the n, the reverse of that would be a division by 18. I've got my calculator. 108 divided by 18 is 6. So we think that the n value that we should end up with is 6. Really quickly, I'm going to pull up my calculator, give it a check. So if we've done things right, I should be able to put in the left side of the equation just like it looks. -3 parentheses, 1 minus 6. And then the n, I'm going to put in parentheses. I think n is 6. So instead of the letter n, I'm putting a 6 in parentheses. Now I'm going to put one more parenthesis to match this one. So they come in pairs. Those are for the 6, this one, and now this one are the ones that appeared in the problem. If we've done things right, I should end up with a 105 on the other side, which we did. So we know we're in good shape. Now, there's another way to do this, and I'm going to be honest, I prefer it a lot of the time, only because it has one fewer step, kind of, and it keeps the numbers smaller. Here's what I mean. This -3 in front of the parentheses is just -3 times the parentheses. If I do that, -3 times the parentheses, well, I can undo that with a division. My goal is to get n by itself. The 6 and the 1 are in the parentheses with the n, but the -3 is further away. It's outside. Let's divide that -3 over. If we do that, -3 divided by -3, that's just 1. And 1 times the parentheses is just what's in the parentheses. There it is. And on the other side, 105 divided by -3 is -35. So one reason that I like this is it tends to keep the numbers smaller. So 1, 6, and 35 compared to 18s and 105s. From here, it's just like the others. I still want to get n by itself. Let's do a subtraction of that 1. That leaves you with -6n. 1 minus 1 has already gone to 0. And over here, -35 minus 1, -36. To finish, divide, divide, and we have n equals +6, which we've already checked. So you can see, you get to the right answer either way. It's not that one way is right and the other way is wrong. It's just that in one way, you have that first distribution step, and in the other way, you do that division step to begin with. Let's say that one of these ways didn't make sense to you, then do the other one, right? Pick the one that works best for you. A few more examples. Here's where I want you to listen a little, then pause and try it yourself, unpause when you're ready to check. Notice the difference this time. There's other stuff happening. There's a 4k here that's in front of a -8 through the parentheses. This time, that means it's probably going to be a little easier to distribute the -8 through the parentheses rather than try that dividing thing. Here's what I mean. Let's do the first step together, and then I'll have you finish on your own. Leave the 4k alone, but this -8, so this plus a -8, we are going to distribute through the parentheses. Be mindful there. -8 times 1, well, that's -8. -8 times 2k, that's -16k. Now, this is a little unusual. We're not used to seeing now k's in two different spots on the same side of the equal sign. When that happens, you're just combining like terms. So take this 4k, and you're going to subtract this 16k. They're on the same side of the equals. We're just putting them together. 4k's minus 16k's leaves you with -12k's. This -8 stays a -8 with the -104 on the other side. Now, let's get our goal in place. I want to get k by itself. So we're going to do a +8 and a +8. Leaves us with, those go to 0, so -12k's. -104 plus 8, I'm just going to double check. I think it's -96, sure enough. Okay, -96. And then to finish, be consistent with my colors here. Divide by that -12 and divide by that -12. So the k, -96 divided by -12 ends up being 8. We think the k is 8. We're going to check it though. Out comes my calculator. Now this is going to look a little messy with a lot of parentheses, but they all matter. So we're just going to type in the left-hand side of this equation, just like it looks, except where you see the letter k, you're going to put an 8 in parentheses. So for k minus 8 times 1 plus 2k, and then one more parenthesis to close that off. Hopefully we end up with a -104. Looks good. We know that we have done things right. If you don't end up with -104, that means there's a problem somewhere. So you head back, you try and find that mistake if you can. For this one, I think that you are good to go. I want you to pause, try it yourself, and then unpause when you are ready to check. Once again, you've got some choices. This one, I think I'm going to actually go the dividing route. Now, what that means is my goal is to get m by itself. There's a lot of other numbers here, though, to get rid of. Let's take them one at a time. The one furthest away from the m is this 6, right? These 4s are all more closely related to the m than this 6 is. So my first step is going to be to subtract this 6. This in front's going to stay the same. So 4 times -4m minus 4 equals, those went to 0. -122 minus 6 is -128. Now, you can distribute the 4 at this point. That will work fine. I like to keep my numbers small if I can, so I'm going to divide, that was supposed to be a straight line, by 4. That'll leave us with this 4 in the front. It's the front 4 we're dealing with. And this 4, those reduce down to 1. 1 times the parentheses is just what's in the parentheses. And on the other side, -128 divided by 4 is -32. My goal, get the m by itself. I don't ever want to forget that. Add the 4. So -4m equals, this will be a -28. And to finish, divide by -4, divide by -4. M should be +7. I hope that matches what you've got. Now to finish up, I want to do a check. I'm going to type in this side of the equation just like it looks. except where I see the letter M, I'm going to put a 7 in parentheses. So 4 parentheses negative 4m minus 4 parentheses plus 6. Do you end up with a 7? Ooh, we don't. That means there is... Oh, we shouldn't end up with a 7. Silly me. I thought we had made a mistake. We're supposed to look at the very first line of the equation. We're supposed to end up with negative 122, which we did. So we have done things correctly.